most popular outsourcing bases, BPO bases. In recent times, a lot of businesses from India for companies like Accenture, IBM, Convergys, so on and so forth, is moving to countries like Vietnam and Philippines. If Accenture had about 30,000 operational people working in India, they have close to about 75,000 now working in Vietnam. So it's grown that quickly. So when they ask this question at the beginning of the interview, and a person is not able to answer this question, they know that that person is not serious about working with Accenture because they haven't been reading the news about Accenture. And a person who's able to answer this question, they know are serious candidates, and at the same time, if they know about Ho Chi Minh City, chances are that tomorrow, when they are sent to Ho Chi Minh or Vietnam or Philippines to work, they'll be that much more oriented to work there. Because today, when Accenture is recruiting from a campus in India, chances are they're not recruiting you for a job in India, but for a project in Vietnam or Philippines. And that's why that question. Now, this is where I'm saying your competition starts and will not finish here, because for Pooja Sharma at Accenture, when she's recruiting for a profile in Ho Chi Minh, she's not just recruiting from India. She is conducting final interviews also in the US, also in UK, also in France, also in Spain, also in Singapore, also in Australia. She is the one person who, for Vietnam and Philippines, all recruitments are happening for Accenture, recruits from across the world. So when you sit for that interview, her benchmark, her competition for you is not another guy sitting in your batch. Is not another guy sitting in an IM in India. For her, the benchmark is maybe somebody sitting in Howard. And those guys will not even apply to Accenture unless they're really interested in working with Accenture. So they would know Ho Chi Minh. They would have 7 years of relevant work experience to work with Accenture. And here, we will start doing our research the day the notice is put up that Accenture is coming to campus. Now, Accenture is a good company. Let me look them up on Google. That's what I'm saying. Your competition starts here, but it's not India. If you want to work with a big Fortune 500, if you want to work with a big branded MNC company, you name them. You talk about Citibank, you talk about IBM, you talk about Honda, you talk about American Express, you talk about McKinsey, you talk about any of these guys. Their comparison when they're recruiting in India today is no more with another Indian MBA. Their comparison of you is with a global MBA. So it is that important to have your focus right from day zero of your MBA. And why I'm saying I'm happy and glad that I'm meeting you guys before you go in for your summer internships is because unfortunately in India, we choose what we want to do in a completely wrong fashion. And then it stays forever on your CV. I come across CVs every day of people who in class 12 have done science, but in their graduation they've done BA. Because after that they don't want to do engineering or medical anymore, they didn't pass the competition exams, they went to their parents and said, please spare me, I can't do this anymore. And that's when finally the parents realized, oh, my son will not become an engineer. But before he commits a suicide, let him do what he wants to do. So I've seen CVs of people who've done science in school, have done graduation in BA, now done their MBA. In their MBA, they have done their summer internship in HR and are applying for a finance job. How can you sit for that interview and convince the person that this is what I always wanted to do? That I wanted to do science and arts and everything else, so I know everything. So I'm a candidate who knows everything about everything. So you should hire me. If you look at the CV and they say you're confused, that you never had a focus right, chances are they're not even calling for an interview. They'll shut you out at that stage. So I'm saying that do not make that mistake yourself, which means a lot of people find out whether they're good at HR, marketing or finance after the summer internship. Are you very excited? I want to do a summer internship in marketing. After that you realize, nahi yaar, let's do HR. But that's not how it is. Summer internship is not so that you find out what you're good at. Summer internship is to build your base for what you want to do for a career, for a living. And why I am so concerned about that, I'll just tell you. How many of you here are interested in HR? If you can please raise your hands up. Okay, I only see the girls raising their hands. I don't see anybody else raising their hands in HR. Okay. How many of you are interested in finance? Quite a few. How many of you are interested in marketing? So it's a fairly good mix for finance and marketing, HR. There are a few takers. And like I said, HR, the front row of girls is where the hands went up. And that's my concern. It's a big concern. The big concern is that if you go to any HR classroom anywhere in the country, majority of the people sitting in this classroom will be girls. Now girls, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying that I'm talking about you in particular. I'm talking about usually what I see when I interview women candidates from HR. You ask them why HR? And they'll say, well sir, I'm not good at maths, so I don't want to do finance. And marketing is like door-to-door sales. I don't want to do that. And so HR. Or they will say that, you know, HR is a 9-to-5 job. You don't really have to travel too much. And my parents are very comfortable with me doing HR. And it is a myth. It's such a myth that HR is a more comfortable job to do. That HR is 9-to-5. Because today's HR travels the world. They work long hours. And it is as competitive as marketing or finance, and as well-paying too. You have targets, you have pressure, you have tons of competition. So HR is not a breezy, easy job. It's tough. On the other hand, when you go to a finance classroom, most people sitting in that classroom are boys. And you ask them why finance? This is so well because finance are the best paying jobs for an MBA, so finance. So it's almost like saying, me man, I earn money, you woman, you do HR. And again, such a myth because if we think that finance are the best paying jobs for an MBA, that's not true anymore. Marketing and HR pays you as much. In fact, from finance, if you take out one career opportunity, which is called investment banking, if you take that out, averages for finance salaries are absolutely similar to HR or marketing. Investment banking pays you really high salaries, but for a reason. I mean, the way I see it is that an investment banker will have 2 houses, will have 2 cars, and will have 2 wives. Because the first wife leaves you very quickly. She leaves you very quickly because you don't have the time for her. Because, you know, what happens is that you're working like crazy through the week. Finally, on Friday afternoon, your wife calls you. So, will you have the time for me today? It's a weekend. And you say, yes, I'm going to be home sharp by 7 p.m. So she is cooking a nice dinner for you. She is, you know, gone to do her, to the beauty parlor to do her baking. Around 6 p.m. you give her a call and you say, I'm going to be a little late, but I'll make sure that I'm there by 8. It's okay. She's dressing up, she's put out the candle lights, the wine bottle, soft music. While she's doing that, at 8 o'clock you give her a call again, 1 more hour and I'll be there. So she wants to beat you up, but because she's put in so much of effort, she's like, okay, I'll wait. Finally at 9 o'clock when you enter home, she's still got a smile on her face and she's saying, hi honey, and you're saying money. Because the BBM is still on. Your BlackBerry is still working, so it's like BB or BB. And that's the life of an investment banker, because you could be working on NSE and BSE, and NSE and BSE will close by 5 p.m., but by then it's time for Nikki to open up. By the time Nikkei is closing down, it's Dow Jones. By the time Dow Jones is closing down, there's NASDAQ. And your work never stops because you're dealing with markets across the world. And that's why they get paid more. Because they work more. Their pressures are higher. Investment banking is considered among the top 3 most pressure-oriented job or career opportunities in the world, including armed forces and working in a mine. It's that pressure. They say that the average burnout age of an investment banker is 33. By 33, most of them burn out. Have you heard of a book or read a book called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari? Who's written this book? Robin Sharma. What is Robin Sharma's background? Robin Sharma is an investment banker from the Wall Street. So he had a red Ferrari, but he couldn't keep up with the pressures of investment banking, so he decided to become a monk. Right? That's how the story of investment bankers go. So all I'm trying to say by the end of it all is that how you choose your career is very important. You do not choose your career based on the fact that I can't do HR, I can't do marketing or finance, so HR. Or you don't choose your career that finance has no money in it, so finance. Similarly, a marketing guy, you ask a marketing guy that why did you choose marketing? He said because I'm creative. Well, a creative marketing guy does not do an MBA. He goes to a place like MICA because no advertising agency will come to a B school campus to pick up creative people. When they come to a B school campus, they come to pick up client servicing people, strategy people, media people, not creative people. Creative advertising guys don't do an MBA. So your focus has to be correct. How you choose your career has to be a logic to it. I mean, I'll tell you how you should go about it ideally. Now that this guy wakes up. Now, whether you choose HR, marketing, or finance, those by and large are the career opportunities that are available to you after that. These 30 career opportunities are by and large the career opportunities available to an MBA in a conventional profession. First and foremost, you need to be aware of these opportunities. You know, when somebody tells me that in HR they want to get into HR consulting, I also ask them questions on talent management and learning and development. If they cannot answer questions on these two, I don't believe that they want to get into HR consulting. Because unless you know and you studied all your choices, you cannot really be sure of what you're good at. So one, you need to know what your choices are. Secondly, you don't go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That okay, let me blindly put my finger on something and say, oh, I want to get into event management. Or you don't say, my best friend is doing marketing and the girl I have a crush on is doing marketing, so let's choose marketing. That's not how you choose it. When you make this grid for yourself, you add these criteria to it. The number one criteria is interest and strength. You choose your career basis your interest and strength. What am I good at? What are my skill sets? Am I a great communicator? Am I a good personality? Then maybe my choices are to get into training and development or to get into business development. What am I good at? Am I really good at maths, tracking numbers, understanding balance sheets? Maybe I should get into financial consulting. And then you also ask yourself, am I interested in doing that? If I get into financial consulting, am I happy tracking numbers throughout my life, working on different client projects in various parts of the world? Do I like living out of a suitcase? If your kick in life, if your interest in life is to travel the world, then yes, that's something you would want to do. If you're not choosing your career based on your interest, you're making a big mistake. If you ask me what is that key differentiator to make a career, to make your USP, to make yourself stand out from the others, it is to do something you like to do. To to do something you're interested in doing, to do something that you're passionate about. That is going to become your key differentiator. Because then when you sit for an Accenture interview, you're sitting for the interview because you really want to work with Accenture, and you would then know what Ho Chi Minh is. You can't go wrong. Why it is very, very important that today you do your choice of career basis your interest is for 2 or 3 key reasons. Reason number 1 is, and this is where patriotism comes in, right? I'll tell you a story of something that happened with me recently. Not recently, I think about 2008, 2009. How many of you heard of a business school called Darden School of Business? Darden School of Business. Darden and IIT had a tie-up till about 2 years ago. We were sending our students for a program to Darden. Darden is in University of Virginia. University of Virginia, the US, and Darden Business School is ranked among the top 3 executive MBA programs in the world. Right? It's a very prestigious business school. It's Ivy League all the way. So I was attending this program at Darden, I think, like I said, in 2007 or 2008, and because they're known for their executive MBA, you would appreciate that most of the guest lecturers who come in are absolutely top of the line. So on that particular day, there was a guest lecture that was being delivered by the erstwhile worldwide head of GE's HR. So this guy for about 11 years was the head HR worldwide for GE. That's a big profile, big position, big designation. This guy's name is Pete. So Pete was delivering this lecture, which was like a whole day seminar actually, and sometime in the middle, when we took a lunch break, I was standing outside and having a coffee or something, and I got talking with Jill. Jill is Pete's PA, his personal assistant. So Jill is asking me a lot of questions about India. She's never been to India, so she's very curious. Everything from Kalra to Taj Mahal, the questions that most foreigners ask you about India. So while I'm answering those questions, she's also curious and she asks about the work culture in India. I'm telling her about the work culture in India. And she says, so how many hours a day do you guys usually work? So I said, well, somebody like me, give or take, on an average, I work about 10 hours a day. She says, 10 hours a day? When do you live your life if you work 10 hours a day? So we here in the US work for 8 hours a day. And if we have to work even 1 extra hour, our employers need to pay us extra. And if they don't pay us extra, we sue them. Well, good for you. Then of course she also went on to ask, so how many days a week do you work? So I said, well, on an average, most people have started working 5 days a week now because they're working with MNCs, and MNCs work 5 days a week. So I said, somebody like me, be at Kalra and IPM, we still work about 6 days a week. 6 days a week? How can you work 6 days a week? We work 4.5 days a week because come Friday afternoon, we're already planning the party for the weekend. So our day ends at about 1:32 in the afternoon on Friday, and after that, we don't work anymore. And she's saying all this and she's laughing and she's going on about how Indians don't know how to have fun, Indians don't know how to lead a life. And Pete walks in, and Pete hears her laughing. So he obviously comes up out of curiosity, says, so what's the joke? Share the joke with me. So Jill goes, you know what? People in India like Viraj, they work for 6 days a week and for 10 hours a day. Now please understand that Pete is a big guy. Experienced, he's seen the world, he was heading G's, HR. Without blinking an eyelid, without batting an eyelid, his response to Jill was, that's the exact reason why Indians are kicking our asses every day. That's the exact reason why Indians are kicking our asses every day. They work for 6 days a week, they work for 10 hours a day, and that's how they're giving us sleepless nights. Because you go to any part of the world today, and that's the sentiment about Indians. We are hardworking, we are ethical, we are sincere, and India as a country is growing every day. And like somebody was pointing out, or some of you were pointing out, you look at any profession in any country, in any part of the world. You talk about lawyers, you talk about CAs, you talk about doctors, you talk about financial consultants, you talk about IT experts, you talk about people who are in education, who are professors, and you realize that among the best in the world are Indians. You go to an Ivy League university to study like a Harvard or an Oxford, you go to any of these universities, chances are 6 out of 10 professors who will be teaching you will be Indians. You go to the Silicon Valley, the people who are doing well in the IT domain, chances are some of the best white-collar jobs go to Indians. You go to NASA, Indians. So Indians have proven their mettle across the world, and that they've done for years now. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that there was a time when if you had to do well as an Indian, you had no choice but to go abroad. Today the same people, the same Indians who are NRIs and have gone abroad are coming back. They're coming back because the opportunities are great in this country right now. They're also coming back because the countries they've gone to are crashing. People in the US are losing jobs every day, people in the UK are losing jobs every day. People in Canada are losing jobs every day. So a lot of our NRI cousins and uncles and aunties are coming back to India. Because this is a land of opportunity. Today India is a country where to do well you don't need to go abroad. You need to stay here and work well. How many of you are on LinkedIn? Has anybody here heard of LinkedIn? But is anybody a member on LinkedIn?
Members are not active.
That's what I was going to say, that I would consider that you work on LinkedIn if you log on to LinkedIn as often as you log on to Facebook. So like Facebook is for social networking online, similarly LinkedIn is for professional networking online. You know, so you can network with people in your industry from other industries to share information, to share knowledge, and that's how LinkedIn is. Why I'm asking you about LinkedIn is because I have a group on LinkedIn which is called Animation Media and Entertainment. There are some 45,000 members I have in this group, and it's the largest group of its kind in the world on LinkedIn. And these 45,000 people from across the world are from the animation industry, media industry, entertainment industry, gaming, so on and so forth. I get at least one CV a week from a member on my group for a job in India. And the CVs that I get are not of NRI Indians who want a job back in India. These are natives from those countries. Germany, France, Italy, Spain, UK, USA, Canada. I'm getting CVs once a week from at least one of these guys asking for a job in India. India has become that popular a destination globally to work in. Now, how is that relevant to whatever we were talking about? How it is relevant is, now I'm saying you need a differentiator. Your primary and number one differentiator is that when you're sitting for an interview tomorrow, you should be proud of your background. You should be proud of the fact that you're an Indian. You should be proud of the fact that your best career opportunities will come to you in India. That is one. Second thing is, you want a differentiator, stop looking at those 30 career opportunities that I put out there. Because those are the same 30 career opportunities that everybody from 11,000 B schools in India is looking at. If everybody wants to become an accountant, if everybody wants to become a financial consultant, if everybody wants to become a trainer, if everybody wants to become a market research executive, then everybody is doing the same thing. Then it is a rat race. Then it is herd mentality. But the opportunity that you have in India today is that you can make a niche for yourself and still be successful. Our parents don't understand that because they belong to an India which was a struggling India, was an underdeveloped India. So when you talk to your parents, they'll say security. Get a job which has security. Go work in a government job, work with a PSU, because then you're employed for a lifetime. And after that you still get pension. But the real India today belongs to people who are taking risks, belongs to people who are choosing to do something different. It actually belongs to people who dare to think beyond. I'll give you 2 examples of what I'm talking about. And believe you me, that's what most of you will realize you need to do by the time you're in your second years and when you're looking at your jobs. What you would need to do is choose an opportunity which completely belongs to you, that you are interested in, that you're passionate about, and not another opportunity. My 2 examples are from IPM so that you can relate with them more. Before I can tell you the first example, let me ask you a question. How many of you here want to be entrepreneurs? If you raise your hands nice and good, please. Keep your hands up, and also answer another question of mine while you keep your hands up. How many of you will become entrepreneurs immediately after finishing your MBA? Fantastic. So you're not looking for a job. You are looking for a job? You're not looking for a job. So you will become an entrepreneur immediately after finishing it. Right? Brilliant. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Similarly, ma'am?
So I would want to get some work experience and then.
Now, which is fine, I respect that. But this is a question that I ask to everybody who wants to be an entrepreneur. Why wait? And that's what they usually say, because I'll get some work experience, and I'll put that work experience into my own business, and that way I'm more sure and more confident. Or some say that I'll get a good job, I'll earn money, I'll save that money, also get the experience and start my own business. You never save enough money doing a job to start your own business. That's number one. You could get the top buck job where you're earning lakhs a month, but you will still never save enough money to start your own business. And as far as work experience is concerned, it's a cliche, but my examples still are Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Narayana Murthy, Dhirubhai Ambani. They didn't need work experience to start their business. What you need to start your own business is passion. And coupled with passion, what you need to start your own business is age, is youth. Chances of an entrepreneur becoming successful if he starts or she starts early is much higher than somebody who starts off late. Because as you progress in life, you fall in love, then you need security to get married, then you get married, then you get pregnant. When do you get the chance to start your own business? Because at every such step you keep telling yourself, right now I'm going to have a baby. Let me have the security of the job. Once the baby is a little older, that's when I'll start my own business. Ask your parents who wanted to start their businesses and didn't start their businesses. They'll all tell you the same things. That I didn't want to leave the security of my job to start a business. Because there were family pressures, so on and so forth. Success happens when you do not have those pressures. When you're still young. So if anybody dreams of going entrepreneurial, do it as quickly as possible. Don't wait. You've got to have passion, and you've got to be sitting in a country like India. Why I'm saying this to you today, and I would not have had the guts to say this 10 years ago, is because today you're sitting in a country where if you decide I want to do well, chances are you will do well. Because an upswing. In fact, if somebody here decides I don't want to do well, chances are you'll still do well. So that's one. If you need to go entrepreneurial, this is the country to go entrepreneurial in. And why going entrepreneurial? If you're passionate about something, will always work in your favor. And that's where my example comes from. IIM Bombay, batch of 2006 and 2007. 2006, a guy called Viraj. 2007, a guy called Nihar Manvedkar. Nihar and Viraj started a business together in 2007. Nihar is somebody who is crazy about guitaring. He's a god on the guitar. Alright? I've heard comparisons like Slash from Guns N' Roses. I've heard comparisons like